I don't think I overstate it when I say I want to win the SAF Championship this year. I want to bring the team as close as possible, and if not qualify for the Asian Cup. So there may be people that say these are unrealistic standards, but for me to say anything less is to undervalue what we have here. We have players with talent, unbelievable talent. And again, maybe because you guys, you watch the Super League, you watch A Division, B Division when it runs, and you see these guys and you think it's normal talent, and for the women as well. The individual technical talent we have here is, okay, it's international class. Some we can make world class. And yeah, again, I've gone off track speaking about me, but I find the players and the environment here we have much more interesting than what I can talk about in terms of my career. But to summarise, experienced coach, here to help not only players but coaches. I think a lot of countries you see that have had recent success, the most obvious one comes to mind is Iceland, maybe 10 years ago at the Euros. They had a long-term vision to develop coach education, and their coaches all UEFA A licence, B licence, in the schools, in the clubs, at grassroots, and you saw the fruits of that come through with a national team with a population 10% of what we have here, that create a national team that did something special. And I'm really excited to meet the players. I have some meetings later today with some of the senior national team players to get to know them, and just to be on the grass and to work with them. I've seen all the players, well, I've seen most of the players in the President's Cup or KP Oli or Japa, but now it's about us building connections as people first and getting to know them, their strengths and weaknesses, them getting to understand myself and my staff, how we want to work. It's very exciting because we have a tendency in football to want to copy what we see somewhere else. So I'm not Pep Guardiola, I'm not Jose Mourinho. I have to come in here. So the first point about players, I know a lot have now left for Australia. I'm working, and my staff are working on connecting those players with semi-professional and professional clubs in Australia. So the players that have left, for their own reasons, perhaps to do with football here or personal reasons, I want to open the door for them to still represent their country. And we also have players playing in Europe that maybe have a dual passport situation. Also looking at that situation, that our national team will succeed when we have the best players possible on the field. So that's an aside. Now to deal with the players in Nepal. Obviously this is such a unique football culture that I'm still coming to terms with. The situation with the leagues, the Super League, the lack of A Division football, and players playing various short-term tournaments. So I empathise with the players that they have a difficult life at the moment. So for me, it's about developing a vision for the whole country. That's a long-term proposition. And then working back with shorter-term goals to develop the players. So for me, the shortest term now is tomorrow or the next day in the training camp. Speak with the players, learn about them, and be developing individuals. And then we build out from that. We're going into the clubs, speaking with the coaches, but that we have a Nepali way of playing football, that everyone's going in the same direction. I think that's, we see with, again, countries that have had success, Spain, France. It took them a long time. For France, it was 20 years to put curriculum in place, to put academies in place, to develop players on a pathway, but they succeeded. So this is where I'm at in terms of developing a country of footballers that can succeed at international level. I've seen the under-20s in the SAF tournament, I think it was last year, some phenomenal players there. And part of my remit will be to to be working with them as well, that we don't lose these exciting young players that we have, that the door is open for them to join the national team, that we work closely with the youth teams, that we have everyone playing in a similar, not necessarily system, but with an identity that you can see these are Nepali players and we are all swimming in the same direction. For me, that was personified at the stadium for the women's final between Nepal and Myanmar. The atmosphere at that stadium was electrifying, and my job is to gather this energy, this passion, and to put it on the field with firstly our men's national team, yes, but to do whatever I can to help the women's team, our youth national teams, our club sides, our school sides, and really harness the power that we have in this country and to take it to new heights. So sorry, that's not really about me, but that's just my experience initially of Nepal. But I just wanted to get that out there, that we have something very special here and we have to maximise what we have. A little bit about me. I'm 47 from Australia. Been coaching now over 20 years. It's taken me through a lot of different countries, a lot of different leagues, national teams. So I've spent that time gathering tactical knowledge, technical knowledge, but more importantly, ways to connect with people, to build a team, to build a culture, and now I feel that I'm at the right point in my career that I can create a vision, build an environment here where we can succeed. And for me, succeeding, I don't think I overstate it when I say I want to win the SAF Championship this year. I want to bring the team as close as possible, and if not qualify for. So lots of ideas, and we need lots of discussion and lots of cooperation to make these things come to life. Yeah, for me, after the 2023 World Cup, I left women's football and then had a year in Saudi Arabia with Qadsiya, and then last year in United Arab Emirates with United FC. So that was now 2 years in men's football, and previous to being in women's football I worked in Australia in men's football. So for me, football is football. The athletes, sometimes they're male, sometimes they're female, and there's advantages and disadvantages of working in either part of the game. Like I said before, football players are people. You need to connect with people, and the gender is really of no interest to me. So for me, it's something I don't really think about as a new challenge or a different challenge. It's about analysing the people you have in the room, getting the best out of them, and okay, for males or females, there's different strategies to get the best out of them, and for me, it's a non-issue really. But I can understand, because I've worked in other Asian countries where there's a much clearer demarcation of men's football, women's football. But in Europe, the top coaches can jump across. The coach of France was Saudi Arabian men's coach, took the French national team, now he's back in men's football. So I think culturally we can also work on not seeing a boundary between men's and women's football. So from a personal point of view, the more success I can have with the team in this 1 year can buy me time to stay longer, which is what I wish to do. But I know that that's results-based and performance-based with the national team. And as coaches, we know wherever we go, we need a long-term vision, because that steers you every day when you wake up. You're looking in that long-term direction, and then you have things in the short term that you are working on too. So in the short term, I'm working on a successful team and a successful campaign in the Asian Cup qualifying and a SAF tournament. If I do that well, then the next steps will follow. And I also know you've probably heard these same things before from previous national coaches. So it's up to me then to prove that I deserve to be here long term and work for the right to see a long-term vision through.